It's better for us to discuss reasons for pricing and what it's all aimed at, etc., rather than anything else. So I'll share my screen a minute. And hopefully you can all see my screen.
Yeah.
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 So just a couple of slides basically, which is talking generally about pricing as much as anything else. So what is a price list really? What is a product list? What's it meant to do? And how they're put together, what their main aims are. I'm sure we all know this, but I think it's just good to go over it every now and again and have views from different people. So when you've all read this, I'll just move on. I had somebody taking a picture, then this is going to be recorded for you all, so you can just go back over and get all these if you need to. All happy to move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's obviously where we are as regards to so that is where we were as regards to pricing. So to start it off, I really just wanted people to give their views of what they actually think a price list is, so that we're all on the same wavelength and table. What do we all think a price list actually is?
Well, for me, it's I work on it the other way. What I want to earn, and gradually bring it down to per customer and per average order. Looking at the though, you know, in the last 10 years, my prices haven't changed. I've probably squashed it a little bit, but that's all. In reality, it's the same prices I've had 10 years ago. We should have had price rises going up, but because the number of photographers have gone up, same as availability in any product, when it becomes more available, the prices drop, so everybody's competing. Although we're not competing with another photographer, we are competing, to me, with technology and other equipment that the teenagers and the children would want compared to having a picture on the wall.
I think that what Hoss has said is completely, for me, the whole thing. It's about finding a way of driving your clients to purchase something at a price that you want them to purchase at. Whatever that, I'm Morag, whatever that price happens to be, for me, is all about it. So it's tailoring your price product list in a way to achieve a figure that you want to achieve from each sale.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Andrew?
Something to make me rich.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
it depends. It depends what you're talking about. A price list. A price list is just a list of your products and what you charge for them. And what you present to the client should be a product guide, not a price list, because a price list, by its nature, price is the major list in the price. So that means they're shopping by price, not by product. So I know we call it a price list, and the clients call it a price list because they don't know any better. My price list I keep actually in a folder, and only show them relevant product guides. So I'll give you an example. We chat to the client, and irrespective of price, if they say, Guy, I don't want something to hang on the wall, I just want digital pictures, I don't bother showing them the wall portrait price list. Yes, I have different sheets I'll show you here. I framed them in 10 by 8 mounts. So the last thing I want to do is show a client that. Because there's just too much information on it, and they just gravitate to the cheapest offer. What I do show them is that, and it's got 5 prices on it: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's my bundles, which is what I want to sell. Of course, I've got my list that has everything else on it. My target is £400 per sale. And that's very, very profitable for me. It's mainly digital pictures. So 10 digital pictures for £400 is very profitable for me. Yes, I do sell some wall art. Yes, I sell some prints, but they tend to be a minority rather than, you know, a staple. And at £400, I'm actually making a lot more profit than I did selling when I was in the bigger studio for 600 quid.
So basically agreeing with what Andrew was saying and agreeing with what Hoss was saying is that your price list, product list, is to drive your clients to spend the average money that you want them to all to spend so that you stay in business.
Correct.
Yep. Jane?
Yeah, I've just been playing around with my price lists actually. For me, it's a compromise between what I want them to pay and what I think the market will stand.
Yeah.
So I've sort of looked at what I actually need to make from it to cover my costs, then looked at what I think the market will stand and priced them sort of slightly higher to give me a bit of wiggle room. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I'm going around the picture frame here, so if I miss anybody, don't worry, I'll come back to you. Richard?
I tend to have different price lists for different types of shoots. Like if I'm just doing a baby shoot, then it will be geared more to smaller prints and digitals rather than a family shoot where I will be, you know, trying to go for a wall portrait, wall art. You know, prints will be on there as well, but the price list will be laid out differently. The prices will vary slightly. With babies, I tend to sell more pictures in packages, you know, like 8 by 6s or 8 10 by 8s and things. Occasionally wall art, which is nice, but as I say, yeah, it tends to be geared towards what the session is.
Okay. Selena? No. Janice? You're on mute, Janice.
Yeah, just taking it off. We, a bit like Richard, we've got 2 price lists, but our first one is for the equivalent of the old Cherub scheme that was run by MPA. So because they come 3 times in a year, we have sort of packages for them. And then we have our main product guide, and we call it a product guide. And we did a big change about 6 months ago, because our original one was looked at by a couple of other photographers and said it's just too confusing. And to us it wasn't, but obviously to the public it really was very confusing. So we've made it really simple, and we've gone with terminology like small, kind of made the smaller products sound really feeble, small, mediocre kind of thing. And then we've gone deluxe and premium to encourage the terminology towards we would like the deluxe or premium packages to be purchased. We always do one product that just seems ridiculously, outrageously expensive, so that the one just down from that sounds like an absolute bargain. And if they went for that, that's absolutely great. I know it's great to have things in 3s. We've gone with 4 options, and we find that people are going for the 2nd or 3rd option. And our target is the 2nd option, so we're really happy with that at the moment. But we haven't really been able to test it to its full potential yet, because it's only really been live for 2 months, and then we went into lockdown. But it seemed to be working how we wanted it before we had to close.
Great.
And it is a product based product guide, so that we've got, you know, wall art on one side and then we've got prints and digital on the other, just to make it really simple. We've got pictures, so it's a bit more appealing, whereas before it was just sizes and price. So from the bit of market research we did, it was far more appealing to customers having the pictures on there.
Okay. Right, go back. Selena, are you available to talk now?
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't get it off mute before. I just have one price list that covers everything. So whether it's pets, babies, families, boudoir, I just do the one price list. I've got to admit, I've never changed my prices or increased my prices since I started, which I don't know how often people increase the prices, but I'm just scared that if I start to increase it even just a little bit, people will stop buying. So I think that's my thought process in why I don't put any prices up.
What?
The other thing that I'd be interested to know is that I find that I'm not sure if everybody gives them a price list when they leave the studio, or give them a price list, a product guide, or whatever you call it, before they come in. But I've trialed this a little bit, but I'm finding that if they know the prices before they come to view, they straight away look at the figures and just put off. If they see the images, if they see the images before they know the prices, then they seem to buy more.
Okay. I think that's a discussion for in a minute, to be honest, Selena, because I think there's a lot to, not that I'm passing over, because I'm not. It's just
no.
so much to discuss about different things. So we're just really sort of generally talking at the moment about prices, how many you've got, different things. Ian?
Like Hoss, I've kept my prices, well, I haven't changed them for the past 8 to 10 years. Partly because of the competition with the phones and that kind of thing. And
I can hardly hear you, Ian.
I can't hear you because someone else is clattering around. Could you mute everyone, please, Alan?
That better?
Yeah, that's better. I'm trying not to, Guy, because I want people to jump in, but I know what you mean.
No, I've
Try and keep quiet. Carry on, Ian.
I was saying, like Hoss, I've not changed my prices over the past 8 to 10 years, partly because of the competition of photographers in this particular area. There's a lot of people running around with cameras calling themselves artists and doing the photography thing as part of what they do. I like the idea of what Guy was saying, where instead of having a massive range, you just have 3 or 4 or 5 bundles, and that helps with their decision making. On the wedding side, I call mine a wedding photography menu, and we've got a la carte options where they can pick and choose, or the bundles as well. So it's a bit of a mix. I also do commercial work, and I just charge a half day or a day rate for that, and that's had to stay about the same as well. But the costs for my business have stayed fairly static as well, so it's not been a problem.
Okay. Morag?
Yeah, I didn't put my prices up for a little while. I've been busy teaching for the last few years. So a couple of years ago, I redid my price list, and it's paper price list, and it seems to be going down quite well. Like somebody said before, I don't show my prices before the viewing. So it's always an in-person viewing, except for at the moment, obviously. But then I'll step them through different options. So my goal is to sell wall art, because when I sell wall art, I get more recommendations. I don't always sell wall art, so I do boxes of prints and things. I don't sell loose prints. I always try and go up with a box of prints to keep the minimum spend up, really. That's me. I do have digitals on there. They're on there at quite a high price, because I don't like doing digitals just because of the quality that people print at and how your work looks. So I try and avoid digitals as much as I can, unless they do a good spend, and then I put them in at half price. So,
okay. Philip?
Well, I'm into packages nowadays. I'll keep to like 3 packages, keep it simple. If I put a lot of things in the packages and have lots of options, then people don't buy because they get confused. So I just keep it simple. So I have 3 main packages for prints, 3 for digitals, 3 packages for weddings. That's it, basically. And I do alter prices around once every 6 months normally.
Okay.
And then what sort of average price, what average for the sale I want. That's about
Okay.
it.
Steve?
Well, a couple of things. With regard to price rises, I try to put the prices up a little bit each year. I think you can fall behind so quickly, and then suddenly there's a huge jump. But as far as price lists, I literally have just arrived this morning in my new card that I give out,
Right.
which has got packages on one side and then a very brief description of other things that I do on the other side, which is like the wall art and so on. Definitely, I think I wouldn't go back to not giving people price lists, because I think you get so many people sitting down and suddenly saying, oh, I didn't realise you charged as much as that. And these are people that you probably really didn't want in the first place, and we're just probably going to take their freebies. So one price list with some packages. With regard to digitals, just having got these printed, I've taken another tack where rather than I will do them as a package, it's not on here, but I have on some of the packages, the print packages that are on here, for instance, the one at £400, you get a number of prints. There's then also, we say as a free gift of this package, we're going to give you 6 high-res digital images worth X. But these are obviously digital images of the ones you've already retouched, which they could go and copy on their own scanner anyway. So it's a kind of a, well, we give you these, as a thank you, but only on the higher end packages.
Right. I think we've got 2 left, if I'm right. Phil?
Yeah, I've sort of tried to really simplify mine. I've got very few. I used to have all sorts on there, every price, every size, every different combination, and I've just stripped it right back now. So it's basically, what size do you want? Right, well, this is the price. What finish do you want? How do you want it presented? Do you want it as a canvas, framed, whatever you want? It's one price for that size. And I've only got 4 sizes, so anything that falls in between, you just step to the price above. And like Janice was saying about the 3 options, people generally go for the middle one. The other psychology behind it, I've gone to 4 because the psychology is always, people will usually go for the middle option. If there's a choice, they could go either way, but with 4 it still keeps them in the middle. So the second option up is probably the ideal, the one we want them to have. But very often people in the head, it's like, oh, that's better, it's not a lot more, we'll jump up to that one.
That's exactly what we found, Phil. We've got the 4 as well. I was trying to get it to 3, but I just had to have 4 sizes for frames.
Yeah, it's in some ways it's a bit of a barrier for them, because it's not the easy option of, oh, we'll just go for the middle one. But then you've got people fall into 2 camps. It's either I'm having that one because it's better, or we'll just stick at that one. It's,
You've also got another psychology in there, that you're giving them a choice of 2 packages, both of which you want them to have.
Yeah.
So,
well, no, I want them all to have the top one, really.
Well, yeah, but they don't tend to do that. But the psychology of the 3 is always they never go for the top, so they're then going to decide about the lowest and the middle one. So the 4 is definitely the option, without a doubt. Peter, and then we've covered everybody then.
Yeah, I've got 4 price lists. So I've got weddings, which I do as packages, for the same reasons everybody else said. It becomes less complicated. They've got to add stuff. But I do end up selling them on wall art afterwards, so that it is possible to get it up. Headshots, there's nothing on the back of that, so it's just a price. The portraits, I've got a wall art price list. Like others, I find if I've got them in the viewing area and they don't know the prices, they're more likely to want it. However, trying to get them in the right state of mind for the price list when it's coming doesn't always work. And I've noticed in Somerset, some people that you think have got lots of money and would buy big pieces of wall art actually don't. And it's the people that don't have much money that do. Interestingly.
Yeah, you can never judge anybody unless they're an existing customer. and you got some history with them, you can't ever really, you know, think X is going to spend more than Y for different reasons. So are we all in agreement then that basically a price list, product list is designed for your clients to read, that they will purchase your perceived cost per client? So whatever your average sale is plus is what you will need per client, and that your pricing list should be designed to enable them to do that. So in simplicity, like Janice and Phil said, that they only get 4 packages, they choose always between the middle 2. Is that what he does?
I've actually, I said a little bit about my package, my price list, but actually what I've got is different price lists for each genre, because I've sorted it so that there's different products in each genre, and then 3 collections where I'm pushing them towards the middle one. But my lowest collection is my hopeful average anyway.
We were discussing something the other day and price list came up, hence why this workshop was put together. And Andrew came up with something in regards to somebody commented that they don't do different price lists for different sessions because it gets very confusing. But Andrew came up with a very clever way of explaining as to how you can do that. And I'll let Andrew do it if he can remember, unless he wants me to jog his memory.
Go for it. I can't remember. No, what was it?
Basically, it was where you have your base prices at a high level to enable you to do special offers and packages for different types of photography.
Was that when Guy said, how can you justify a price being higher for fat? Right, yeah. That's because we then offer different products for the babies than we do for the families. So therefore, we never get that question asked to us.
Do you want to explain that, Andrew, so that people understand it a little bit more?
Well, basically, there's no products on, apart from a single print, which is the same price on both price lists. All the other products on the baby one are completely different to what's on the family price list. So therefore, no one can say, how can it be £300 on the family and £200 on the baby? Because we never get that crossover.
We are the same, but it's easily answered. In a family, you can get up to, I don't know, 20 people in it. So you get 20 people retouching per image and all that sort of thing, and a lot harder to do than a single baby photographing. We do have different prices for families to just children photography as well.
The problem is, Horst, you and I know this, but the customer, all they see is a digital file or a print. They don't have a clue how much effort goes into each one, and we have a different value system to that.
Yeah, but my family clients don't see my children prices, and if they come back for just the child photography, they'll be happier because they're lower.
I think this is all relating to, and this is really what I wanted to try and get this one going for, is that we've all got different reasons as to why we've got different price lists. But for those that are working on price lists at the moment, to understand, people like Hoss have got his, because he's been in business a long time. Andrew, I'm looking around at the pictures here, but all the people that have been in business a long time, we all run businesses at different levels, etc. And I think that it's grabbing hold of you know your costs, what you want to sell. Some people do in-house printing, others don't. So therefore they will have products that they make more money on by selling X company's products over somebody else's. It's what you want to sell, how you want to get your branding out there. But it's interesting to me in that people have, I don't know anybody here has, but totally different prices, and I'm not including yours, Hoss, because I understand yours. Totally different prices for types of sessions. So they've got a completely different price list of all the prices for babies, a different one for fairies, a different one for cake smash, a one for families. Exactly. You see Phil going, no. And that's what I think has got confusing for the clients, a bit like Guy was talking about early on. is that you can have a list showing everything, but you need to have that list tailored to the way that the clients are going and what they want.
It's too confusing for us as well. If somebody asks the price on something, you've got to think, well, what is it they're wanting the price for? If it's, you know, if you're offering the same product at different prices, you know, the way I look at it is, if you keep it simple, you know, you've got your sheet with your prices on, but if need be, if somebody asks the price, you know straight away how much it is.
I think you've got to be congruent and you've got to be honest and straightforward with people. Don't forget, the more complicated you make it, the more complicated it's for you. And if they ask you how much is this, and you have to fumble and work things out or look at different price lists, they think, hang on, he doesn't know how much it is. You know, obviously he doesn't. You've got to be, so the simpler you keep it, the better. So Andrew's idea of having different products is awesome, because you know your products, you know what they cost, and you just don't offer certain products to different markets. You don't have to say, well, this product is discounted for you for this, but you pay full price over there. So, and people don't like that. I mean, the same as digital pictures. Some people say, oh, I don't like selling digital pictures because people will, you know, don't print them well enough, or, you know, I've got no control or whatever. If you sell them a print, the first thing they're going to do is to get their mobile phone out and take a photo of the print to show everybody. So you're screwed. So if you're going to sell them prints, you might as well sell them the digital pictures, because at least they'll get better quality then. However, you've got to price that at a level that you can make a living at. I'm not saying, you know, give stuff away for free. So, you know, I made a conscious decision. My average is going to be £400, and I'm exceeding that. Okay. Now, you know, I've got little tricks and tips that I upsell here and upsell there, and I'm going over the £400, and it's going up to 450, and it's slowly making its way up towards the 500, and that is pure profit, a lot of it. So what I have on the price list is not necessarily what they walk away with. So, but you've got to be congruent in your business. You can't be seen to juggle things, or it comes out as dishonest or manipulative or pulling the wool over someone's eyes.
Hoss mentioned this at the very, very beginning, and I think that it's the right way, in that you don't come up with prices before you know exactly what you need to be charging. In other words, you know how much you need per year, per month. Divided that by per day, per session will give you an approximate figure of what you need per sale. Has everybody done that?
Yeah.
I think most of us have been in business long enough to figure that one out. The question is, what is right for us? Now, ego comes in, and it's a problem. I remember joining the Paul K Club, where, you know, they were taking 10 grand orders. And I always aspired to take the big order. Then I realized, actually, I make more money out of doing lots of smaller orders. And I talk to my clients about, you know, have you been to photographer before? Do you know what we do? And a lot of the time it's no. They've come to me from a lost leader. So they're here because they want their freebie. They're not here because they want the £1,000 portrait, because that's what I advertise. Some people advertise, I'm a £1,000 portrait photographer, and some people say, I want the £1,000 portrait photographer. But those are people that are looking for photographers. So I talk to them about like restaurants, and I say, you know about McDonald's? And they go, yes. Well, you know about the Ritz? And they go, yes. Well, you know, there's nothing wrong with McDonald's if you want a snack. But if you had your grandmother's 70th birthday, you won't be taking her to McDonald's to celebrate. Okay, so we're not McDonald's, we're like a gastropub. And they go, oh yeah, okay, I get it now. Okay, and that suddenly puts things in perspective for them in the language that they understand. Now, because most of the stuff that we do is lost leader, you know, you won a portrait for 150 quid and you get a free image and all this kind of stuff. It's all about the upsell. So you've got to think about disposable income, and, you know, these families, how much can they afford to dig into their pocket and pull out? That's number one, what they can afford. And number two is what they want to afford. And I found in my area, £400 is really not too difficult to get out of people. Yes, it's easy. Now, if I said, Guy, I want your average to be £1,000, then my income will drop dramatically because it's a much harder to get. Don't get me wrong, I do get over £1,000 spends, but when I get £1,000 spend, I actually, from a percentage profit, make less profit than a £400 spend.
Okay, I've missed some questions here. It's been so interesting what everybody's been saying. So I completely missed the questions. So I'm going to lead through some of these questions from people on board. Boss has asked, can we ask for prices as an average, please, for 10 by 8 and 10 by 16 frames, as well as a minimum digital option on family, so that we get an average across the board? So I think what Hoss is really saying is to find out if we're all where we possibly should be as regards to quality. So on an average of 10 by 8 prints, are most people above £50?
No.
No. I'm under.
£50, £49.
Yeah, 50.
But saying that, I don't sell them. They're on the price list, but I don't sell them.
I don't even offer them.
Okay. Hoss?
I'm looking at the prices that people have written there. Peter Juice, you are so cheap. It's unbelievable. I mean,
what?
Firstly, your digital.
Wow.
Your digital is ridiculous.
Okay.
If they can only buy digital.
I feel really awkward about that. So yeah.
No, don't feel awkward. My point is, when I started in business, my first main seminar that I went to was with Paul Kay and Mike Friedman. And when I saw the prices they're charging, I realized how I should charge. I mean, one digital print, the family can come to you, have an hour shoot, an hour's viewing, and walk away with one full family portrait on a digital for £25. They're going to go and print it as a 20 by 16 in, let's say 30, 40 on photo box.
Just let me put it in some context, Hoss.
Yeah.
When I put that price list together, I was charging for the shoot.
Okay.
So I've got 175 quid for doing a shoot, 2-hour shoot with somebody.
Okay.
So I was already getting that in the bag. And I haven't, so that, you're right, that is too cheap if we're doing it as we are at the moment.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, everyone really needs to realize that if somebody walks into your studio and walks away, what's the minimum they should spend? Because that's really, other than that, sometimes I say to my client that says, oh, can I have these two for that price or whatever? I say, look, I'll be happier if you just took your freebie and went, because as it is, you're costing me money. For me to add another picture with all the work that goes behind it is going to be more expensive for me.
Yeah.
But don't forget, because Janice knows ins and outs of my business as well. I'm Guy. I would walk in, being a Middle Eastern, the bartering is always there for me. Okay, so my prices have a leeway. If somebody says I want to spend £200, am I going to let them walk away? No, because all I'm giving them is digital pictures. The fact is, I realized once I was going through different areas, looking at some shops that are very empty. And in 2014, after I did my presidency with MPA, when I came out, I thought every moment that I work, I need to make some money. When you go to a grocer, you could buy a chewing gum, which is 50p or whatever, or you can buy a bottle of champagne at 35 quid or something. So you have different levels. And Mike Friedman in the olden days used to say, on an airplane, you could pay 99p and sit in economy because you had this promotion, and somebody will pay $6 grand to sit and go the same distance in the same airplane at the same time. So it's where you want to be, where these people want to place themselves. So I wanted to place myself where I work little but more for more money. But if somebody says I've got £200 and I'll pay £200 for those 3 images on this, I mean, my prices start with 5 images on USB. If they say I only want those 3 and I want to spend £200, I would say, look, that's amazing price, amazing reduction from it. What I'll do it for £250. They normally say yes. So I do sell it at different prices because I don't want anybody coming here and not spending any money. I do have them. I do have somebody who say, actually, I don't have any money. You know, they walk away. But my price has got to be at a certain level to be able to drop it down to if there is a situation for me.
So it's all about perceived value, isn't it?
Yeah.
I agree with Hoss. There are some products that I know I can discount easily, like my boxes of prints, because my overheads are much lower. So if I'm not going to get a sale without discounting, then I will. I'll discount on that. That's my main one. But yeah, where there's more profit.
Rabbit out of the hat.
Hmm?
Rabbit out of the hat.
Rabbit out of the hat.
I think the other thing that you've got to take into consideration about a single digital image, Peter, is, as Hoss was saying, it doesn't matter whether they paid £175 to get you there previously and only £25 for the digital image. They can do so much more with one image. So to sell a single one image needs to be a lot of money. You can sell 2 or 3 afterwards at discounted, got them on that step. But the first image must be perceived to a value of what you feel you're worth.
I'm very happy to put my digital images up. It was difficult to place them.
Yeah.
I don't sell many of them, to be quite honest. I try to avoid it like the plague.
Most
Yeah.
of it,
If
most
you
of
want
what
to,
we sell
sorry.
is digital because there's very little cost in it, and the profit is so much different. I mean, I've spoken to people who claim their orders are 850 average, but that's only less than mine once you work out the cost of what they've bought, what they pay. So
Yeah, the products, yeah.
I can, minimum I try and sell is 3 images, and that's if they don't go with my prices. If they say, oh no, how much will you do for 3?
Hoss, what's the target price? What are you trying to get per average customer?
575.
Okay. And are you hitting that on a regular basis?
We are, yeah, I would say you know our averages.
Yeah.
About 5.2,
okay,
depending on.
So I made the decision of going for £400. Yes, we relook at it every year. We've had a very good year so far. You know, we're making ends meet quite comfortably until this lockdown came down. The biggest, you know, it's like ego with photographers saying, oh, my 10 by 8 is £1,000. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be selling your cheapest item on a regular basis. You should be selling somewhere in the middle. So I do send them a price list with some basic products on them when they make the booking. And you know what? We shoot about 200 a year, 200 sessions a year, and maybe 4 out of those come round and say, that's too rich for me. And you know what? I'll go, thank you very much for getting back to me. I'll postpone your booking or cancel your booking. If they can't afford to spend 50 quid with me, then that's fine. Now, so the 10 by 8 is just a 50 quid minimum spend. And it weeds out the no spenders. Now, if I turned around and said the minimum spend is 100 quid, a lot of people will balk at that. What for a photo? Why? Because they haven't had the opportunity for us to build up the perceived value. Most of the stuff that we do is lost leader. They don't really understand what we do. We send them a price list. They don't even bother reading it.
Guys, sorry, that doesn't mean that we should bring our price down because they don't understand it.
No. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is the people that don't have money will read the price list and excuse themselves out of the market. However, Most people look at the bottom line and say, yeah, I can afford the cheapest thing. Yeah, I'll go. And that's the only thing they look at the price list for. So be careful that some people that can afford you, don't exclude them because you think your 10 by 8 is too cheap. You need to have something cheap enough there for everybody in your target audience to be able to afford. Now, even rich people want a good deal. Okay, so even a rich person, if they don't value something, they'll go, that's too expensive. So you've got to have something cheap enough for them to go, you know what, yeah, I could probably spend that. When they come in and you do the shoot and they get to meet you and they realize how valuable you are, then they'll quite happily spend more.
Okay, firstly, it's not whether they're rich or not. It's whether they desire the photograph, whether they want it. I've had rich clients who walk away thinking, you know, all we want is a small print or whatever.
But they don't want it. They don't value what you do.
No, they don't value portraits. They don't value the picture of family being together.
Yeah.
Yet I've had people who I've been to their houses and I'm thinking my portrait on their wall is the most expensive thing in that house.
Yes.
So, and I'm serious. I'm not just joking. Absolutely, I've felt sorry that they've paid the money they've paid to buy the portrait. But if that's what makes them happy, then that's up to them. But as I said, I do bring my price down. When I see somebody is about to walk away, can't afford it, there's two camps here. One is somebody will say, wow, amazing pictures. We love what you've done. Honestly, we couldn't get to those prices. I love those people because they're honest with me. But some people will say, I will sit there and go, oh no, they're too expensive. I don't know why they're so expensive. I don't change my price for them.
No.
Because to me, they're trying to knock me down for the quality and the work rather than saying, we can't afford you. So, I mean, I wish I could do what Janice does. Janice will,
I know, I'm mean.
will charge the 75p. If it's in the prices, it will say, yeah, that would be £275.75. I'm saying, where did you get that 75p from? How do you charge it? I would normally just put that.
I will charge that 75 pence if they owe it, then that is fine, because 100 customers owing that 75 pence, you know me, they don't get any discount from me.
Well, Janice, I know you're not Jewish. Any Scottish in you?
Yes, definitely. My maiden name was McDonald.
Yeah, there we go. So, you know, at the end of the day, what you said was I mean, I learned a long time ago, Mike Friedman was a brilliant teacher. And rather than discounting the price, add another product. And that usually works for me. You know, they got 10 pictures and they ask for a discount. So I throw in one more picture and up the price even more rather than discount it, but make it better value for money. And usually they go, yeah, I'll go for that.
Yeah, my favourite gift is the Animoto slideshow that I've already made that cost me nothing.
Yeah.
You tight Scottish, whatever, Janet.
Hey, Alan, watch that. Sorry, mate, Janice.
Janice, do you do a phone app?
Sorry, do I have?
Do you do a phone app?
No, I wasn't, because we used to do the phone app, didn't we, in Tring, but I haven't, no. And I am tempted to look at that again. Was it Sticky Albums or something?
Sticky Albums, yeah. They are not expensive, but they're less than a 2016, let's put it this way. Now, there's other phone app stuff out there, and the phone app I use as an upgrade. And I say, well, these packages, you know what? We usually charge £99 for this phone app. If I don't give you a discount, I can throw in the phone app.
Yeah, which phone app do you use now?
Sticky.
You still use Sticky?
Well, they've given me what they call the grandfather rate. Because I was with them from the beginning, they haven't upped my prices.
Ah, that's all right. Mm.
But there's other, even free phone apps out there for photographers. I saw one came up on my Facebook. I can't remember what it's called. So
My Photo app.
My Photo app. It's a free giveaway.
Yeah.
And all the pictures are on there they've had anyway. They're not getting more pictures than what they've bought. And when you turn around to grandma and you say, you know, I'll send you a text and you click on it and bam, all your pictures will be on your phone. She goes, oh, wow. Because if you turn around to her and say, if I gave you these pictures on CD, how would you get them on your phone? And she goes, I ain't got a clue. And that is a big seller for people.
Okay, going back on something that Selena was talking about before, you've already sort of covered it to a certain degree, some of you, but about putting your prices up.
Alan, before you do that, can I ask one question?
Carry on.
I've come from the Mark Cleghorn school of pricing because I was with him for a year.
£25 for a digital image?
No, we didn't do digitals. And it was 5 times the product price, but you did a discount to get, so the price was higher, but you discounted on the viewing day. Does everybody else do that? Or is that, I sometimes feel quite uncomfortable with that process.
I stopped doing that.
Yeah.
I think the clients feel pressured. They feel, they do feel pressured. And it's down to this honesty thing. If something's worth £400, charge £400 for it.
Yeah.
Don't say, well, actually, if you go away today, it's going to be £500. That's putting pressure on them.
Yeah,
I agree. When I set my studio up, I went to large photographers in Bristol at that point, and he also remain nameless, and went through the process. And I hated the viewing room. I hated what they did. So when I opened my studio in 2007, I decided that I would never, ever, ever hold people to ransom in the viewing room.
Yeah.
And I never, if people need to come down because they can't afford it, I help them to come down and to land on a good sale where my customer's happy, and then they come back to me. A lot of people feel stung by some of the operators, and I really don't like that way of marketing. So personally, I've never done discounts like that.
Well, we want people to come back to us, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, maybe the other operators don't. I think the people you're talking about could possibly be venture, and they've changed the way they do things now because they've learned their lesson. You know, you find that they do some kind of digitals, not high res, but et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But coming back to this, you've got to make the client feel as if they're worthy and you're on their side. And if a client says, Guy, I've only got £200 to spend, I'll go, okay, let's see what I can do for £200 for you. And I'll go off the price list. And as long as I walk away making a living out of it, I'm happy. Some clients say, Guy, you know, but what you can say is, well, you know, if you want the higher price, today I'll throw in the app, but you can't say I'm going to double your price if you don't buy it.
I think the other thing about it is if a client walks out of your studio feeling they haven't been stung, they're much more liable word of mouth to talk to you, to other people, and you might then get that £400 sale from the second person. And I think that is the difference between us being personal and family run businesses rather than the Mark Cleghorn ×5 type of thing, Peter, to be honest. We all know what he's on about and that type of thing, but in the real world, I don't think it works, to be fair.
I say that I sound really mean, but my customers think I'm giving them the world when I give them the free Animoto, because on my price list, £145. So they walk out of that viewing room singing and dancing. They think they're so happy with the service. The most important thing for us is that people are running out of there and shouting our names so that all their friends come. And so, yes, to me, I know I'm being mean because, yeah, of course I can take that 75 pence off, but I don't, because typing in the 0.75 on the PDQ machine, they don't even see that going on. They pay what they get, but they get an awful lot of fantastic service. So I know our customers are happy.
So really, you're like a garage. It just charges an extra penny for all the fuel, and you add it up over the year then, Janice?
Absolutely. It's more than a penny. More than a penny.
Yeah, but
Janice,
you don't...
Can I just ask on your Animoto, obviously I know that's a slideshow. How many images do you put on there, and how long is the slideshow that runs?
So our Animoto usually lasts between 3.5 and 4.5 minutes, depending on the size of the family. It's their whole viewing, so it will be between 40 and 60 images. I do it in a way that the images come in at angles. Look, at the end of the day, they could probably screen grab, but I'm only going to give them that if they've spent a nice amount of money.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's one of those things that if they've spent a bit of money with me and I can see I could probably get them that next stepping stone to just go to the next package. It's that little twist of, do you know what, if you manage to get to that next package, I know you don't want to take any others out. So why don't we go for that next package? And what I'll do is I'll pop the slideshow in that you saw at the beginning of the viewing. And they're thrilled with that, absolutely thrilled, because on my price list or product guide, it's £149 actually, because I just upped it by £4. I was a big believer in doing everything as like 145, and not having it ending in a 9. It's a psychological thing with me. And I got really reprimanded by a mentor, and they told me to put all my prices ending in a 9, and I have. And it's not made any difference to the sales, and I've got an extra £4 out of every single person.
This is what I was going to say earlier in answer to Selena, saying she couldn't put her prices up. The problem is that we're not getting the same clients all the time, so they won't know what price you're charging before, or what you've charged before. I mean, 80% or 90% of our clients have never been to us. So I've never been photographed either.
I've realised also how much the goods have gone up. My framer's charging an awful lot more for frames now, and most of the wood comes from Italy with Brexit, and now this. The costs have gone up massively. He jumped 5% one year, 5% another year last year. So I had to really look at my price list. So although I put it up a couple of years ago, I'm now working on one which I'll put into place for January. But just going back a little bit, for pricing things differently, the only thing that I do price differently is boudoir photography. So my price list is very similar, it's all bespoke, but I do charge more just because of the level of retouching and work that I need to do. My doorbell's rung, so I'm just going
to... I think for me, Guy's mentioned a couple of things, and I love Guy's saying where that if somebody doesn't want to spend 50 quid with them, or can't afford to spend 50 quid with them, then they're not his clients. I've never ever looked at it that way. 50 quid's nothing really, is it? It's not even a tank of fuel at the minute.
Yeah, exactly. So it just, I mean, out of 200 shoots, we lose about 4 shoots a year. So they don't know our prices until they book. So we've got their name from somewhere. We contacted them. They said, yes, we love it. We send them a product guide when they actually confirm the date in the diary, and they pay their £30 deposit. So that's when we send them the price list. And out of 200, 4 people call up saying, we just got your price list or product guide. They call it price list because they've done any better. We just got your product guide. It's too rich for us. We'd like to, our deposit back. We're not going to go ahead with it. And I go, you know what, guys? Thank you for being straight with me. You're most welcome to it. Here's your money back. We're not the right photographers for you. I wish you luck. Enjoy life. In a nice, positive manner. Because if they can't spend 50 quid with me, it's just pointless me spending 2 hours with them. We do instant viewing as well. So,
yeah, I do instant.
So most people say, yeah, I got the price list, but I never looked at it. Those are the kind of people that 50 quid isn't an issue for. The kind of thing that 50 quid is an issue for, they do read every little line because they don't want to be caught out with a bill. So, and then when people come and say, look, I've sent you the price list, they can't turn around and say, well, I didn't know what it was going to cost me, because they're going to look like a wally for not researching it. And then I've got 50 quid upward. And most people, 400 quid, it's easy to get out of, most people,
Okay.
The other thing, Guy, was sticky albums. What's that?
Okay, I'm just about to ask that question, Judith. People are talking about on the chat is Hoss has said he doesn't use photo apps, so I presume it would be great if somebody can fully explain what photo app is. Sticky albums is another one. Animoto is another one, I believe. Do most of you actually use some form of video as part of your selling process?
Yeah.
I just use Pro Select, show it, and in no way, shape, or form they would ever get anything that is a watermarked or whatever. I don't care if they say, oh, but we've got tons of orders coming up. Sorry, you buy what you want, and then if they like it, they'll order it with me, or if you're buying digital, you can share it with them anyway. I don't know what Photo App is, so.
Okay, can I walk you through what I do?
It's probably worth identifying that Animoto and sticky apps are two different things.
Yeah. So sticky folios I've been using for nearly 15 years now. The beautiful thing about this that I've not found with any other app is it works offline as well. You don't have to be online for it to work. Once you've saved it to your phone, and you can't access the pictures without the app. So it's not like you can send those pictures to be printed. Okay. So if this is a phone, the app itself is a little button there. And you can have as many apps as you want. Now this will load. This will load, and it'll have the customer's pictures here as little thumbnails. Okay, they can tap on the thumbnail to look at it big. Now, the beauty of this is, if you look at
can they not capture screen?
They can, absolutely.
I've printed.
These are purchased images, Hoss. These are pictures they've
purchased.
purchased.
They're purchased. Okay.
They've purchased, and they've already received these pictures high-res digitally.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm not doing any extra work for myself. Now,
I don't want to press extra button, let alone.
Yeah. Okay. So watch. This is a clever bit, and this is why I do it. Can you see at the bottom there is a refer a friend button?
Yeah.
That is always there as they scroll up and down. It's always present. Okay. And that's my referral scheme. They press the button, it takes them to a landing page on my website, and I get referrals from it. Admittedly, I don't get hundreds of referrals, but the handful of referrals I get out of it more than pay, because they tend to be more than my £400 average order.
So what's it called, did you say?
Sticky albums.
I'm going to put it to the marketing department and see what she says.
So it's not
pretty big, yes.
It's not cheap.
See who shall be obeyed.
Right. So can somebody explain the Photo App as well to Hoss, so that he's got a looking at all the different.
Just the same.
Just the same. Okay.
Just the same. My Photo Apps, yeah. And at the moment, you get a free trial till the end of the year.
Right.
And then how much you get afterwards?
Yeah.
There's three different levels of options, but the I think the basic level, I can't remember, it might be about 150 quid for the year, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's unlimited.
It's cost and extra work. That's terrible.
But once you've got it set up, it's set up as a template. You literally just drop the images in.
Okay.
You may want to change. If you've put their names in there, you might want to change that. But other than that, you literally just drop the images in, and then you just text it to them, and that's it.
Can I ask a quick question for those that give the app? Do you give it to them when they leave the studio, or do you give it to them when they collect their products? Because I might worry slightly that they're actually happy with it just on their phone and may then
cancel the order.
Cancel the order, exactly.
Well, they've paid for the order already. Okay, so they get it. Let's say you've ordered £400 with me. If you paid £400, a couple of weeks later, the digital images are ready. You get them emailed to you via WeTransfer. I don't even bother with CDs or USBs because they cost me even more money. It's WeTransfer. It's branded Zoom Photography, and I text them the app at the same time. So when they get the digital pictures, they get the app as well. If they haven't paid, if they're on payment plan, they only get the goods at the end of the payment plan.
Yeah, great. Including the app. Yeah.
I use the app in a similar way. Sorry, Hoss. I use the app in a similar way, but because I've got it branded with my logo and everything on it, I give it away free when they collect their order.
Yeah, I mean,
Irrespective on the price.
I don't touch the
Sorry?
viewing files at all. They don't see anything retouched. They just go with what I say to them. We do head swaps and everything, but and they only get the product right at the end when it's ready and paid for.
Does that answer your question about putting the prices up, Selena?
The biggest thing that's stopping you earning more money is your own self-disbelief, you know.
6 inches.
Yeah, it's yourself.
It's
It's
6
not,
between these two things.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, if you add 3 zeros onto your price list, it might be a bit la-la, but, you know, you got to earn a living. And your marketing is only going to bring the same amount of people in no matter what you do, because you only have a certain amount of capacity. So it's not about making everybody happy. It's about making the people that appreciate you happy.
Yeah, I think it's just that I know what sells and they sell well. And I just think if I start to increase it, will it put people off buying? And then I'm better off just keeping it to a price that I know sells really well.
What? Why don't you try
it out? You can check it out, can't you? Because you can put an increase on there. Just put a small increase, see if it has an effect. And if you don't like it, drop it back down again.
Yeah.
The 75p on it, Janice does.
Selena, have you put your prices on the messages?
Sorry, is that to me?
Yeah, Selena, have you put your price? Did you write your prices on the side? I can't see it.
No, what's that for? The 10x8s?
The 10x8, the minimum digital, and the 20x16.
10x8s. I sell one at 65, but I rarely sell it. Nobody ever sell. I don't know. Hardly anybody ever buys that, to be honest. They tend to buy the pack of 10x8s, and that sells really well. And
the individual price is there so that it makes the pack price look good value.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's more the packs that sell more than an individual 10x8.
So what do you say your average is on the clients?
Probably about 150, 175.
I mean, they can come to you and go for £175.
Sorry, they can say that again.
How many clients do you get a week?
I'm
not questioning, I'm just trying to work out
Doing the maths.
Why you're thinking your prices are too high already.
I don't think they're too high because I know that they sell really well, like collages, and collages I'd say is my best seller.
So think about it this way, Selena. If you had a family of, let's say, mum, dad, 2 kids, and they went to somewhere like Pizza Hut, how much would they spend as a family on a 3-course meal, drinks, and their experience for the evening?
I know, and I do look at my clients that come in, and most of my clients are the poorer end. They don't have much money. They're single mums. They're on benefits, things like that. But I'll be honest, they are my better sellers than the ones that have got good careers and good money. But I do look at them, and they've always got the nails done, and they've always got the false eyelashes on. And I do look at them thinking, well, they must spend a fortune on that each month.
They do. I mean, if you look at a haircut, what do you spend as a lady on a haircut? You know, you can tell them, look, you've only got 2 haircuts and it's on your wall forever. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I find that the poorer background people will spend more if you do a payment plan for them. So if you say, look, you can have 300 quid, but it's only 30 quid a month for 10 months. And they go, oh my God, can I have that?
Right. I was trying to come up with a different point here. Selena, what I was saying was to be able to understand your clients a little bit better is firstly, decide how much you need to earn for the month. And then how many clients do you get? And then try and work out your pricing in between so that you don't work as hard. I mean, £200 even average, you need what? 10 clients to make £2,000.
This is going back to what we were saying earlier, is about understanding how much money you actually need to survive in business.
Yeah.
So Peter, can you take that stupid hat off? That's better.
Oh my God, no, put it back on. Put it
I like it. Menace the menace.
Keep it on, Peter. It was brilliant. I'm just looking around all these people. Now Philip's leaned over and he now looks bold. So it's a bit, sort of it. So are we all in acceptance of where our prices, what they're all about, etc., etc.? Has everybody enjoyed this?
Yes.
It made me feel a lot better about mine, because mine is sort of thereabouts with most other people's, so I'm happy.
It's got to be right for you.
Go on, Phil.
Yeah, sorry. The other thing that sort of shocked me a bit was how many people that said that about not increasing the prices is checking with what your suppliers. How often do you check what your suppliers are charging? We had one product that's gone up 170% this year, a couple of months ago, and it was one we were just about to run a promotion with it because it was a fantastic value, and then the price went up. I'm saying 170. I think it was either 167 or 173% that it went up.
Is that the GF Smith item?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've been underpricing it for years.
Yeah.
What item is that?
And they don't want to do it now.
What item is that?
It's the Naturals.
Oh, really?
The Naturals canvas.
Yeah.
The 10 by 8 one was 15 quid, and it went up to 40 quid overnight. And I was doing a promo with that. You know, basically at 15 quid, we could do a promo. You know, you do it £99 shoot and get one of those, and then upsell from there.
Yeah.
When the price has gone up to 40 quid, plus your carriage and everything else.
I print my own prints. The prices haven't gone up on paper that much. The framer, I have a company, not company, but a husband and wife who do framing. And not only they discount it for me, but their prices haven't gone up that much. And I hardly ever sell. There was a time when I was spending £600 a month on frames. And now, rarely I call them, and I rarely sell any prints. I just go with what people want. To be honest with you, I put myself in people's shoes as well. I just think, okay, what would I want to walk away with it? Because if I have a wall portrait that's 10 years old, and I can't get rid of it because it's the best wall portrait we've ever had, but it's gone 10 years old and I want to swap it, I can't get rid of that wall portrait. I need to do something with it. But if they had the digitals, I would be able to throw the print away, have the digitals anyway, and spend money on a new one and get a new digital image and have it printed. So I just think profit first for me.
Guys, this is what we do as an upsell. They buy a pack of 10 digital images, and then I go, okay, how can I get another 50 quid out of them, 100 quid out of them? And these are their own digital images just dropped into a set template. I don't redesign the template, it's a set template. And I'll price it anywhere between £100 and 50 quid, depends what they spent. I've got someone coming to collect this any minute now, that's why I'm looking over my shoulder. So guess how much this printed on 2mm board. It's an inkjet that I print myself. I've got an Epson 7800. How much do you think this cost me to produce?
I know.
About £5.
I can't answer.
About tenner. Okay, actually the cellophane cost me 50p to wrap in cellophane to make it look good. Okay, so, but it's an upsell, and I'd say 30% of people take it. And I've not had to do much more work. I've already done the retouching. All I've got to do is drop these in the apertures and hit print. Okay, so it depends on your circumstance. And again, it's about the profit margin. Yes, I sell a wall portrait like that, brand new, for something like £700 or something. If they say, can I have that as a big kaleidoscope thing? I say, yeah, it's £700. but they're not in that market. I don't have that on my price list. If they come into me saying, I want that £700 wall portrait, I say, of course you can have it. Okay, so it means I go away with something. It's got my logo at the bottom. It goes on the wall. They go to IKEA and they buy a 70 by 50 centimeter frame. It's not, and it just drops in. Okay, so you know, people say, well, you know, they can do all sorts of things with it. They've got the digital pictures. All they're going to do is go to Photobox and get them to drop it into a template and make a frame from them, because they've got the digital pictures. So why can't I make another 70, 80 quid out of this? Yes. And take the money for myself rather than going to Photobox. So, you know, photographers, it's an ego thing. And I want them to buy the Rolls Royce every time. Well, most people are not in the market for the Rolls Royce. So why are we always trying to flog them all Rolls Royce?
I agree.
Can you hear from some other guys, please, Guy?
Not a problem. Well, I'm going to make a move when this client arrives anyway, so carry on.
Hi everyone, I've got to go now. So thanks for all your comments and for all the ideas, and we'll catch up with you again later.
Speak to you soon, Ian.
Cheerio.
Bye, Ian.
Alan, can I just ask one question before? I guess we're tying it all up soon, but how many of those that are still here actually do a proper run through or product range before the client leaves the studio after the shoot? That seems to make a big difference when you've just taken away a price guide and they can't actually visualize what those things are like. Going through, spending, I don't know, 15 minutes with them going through everything seems to make a big difference.
Yeah,
it's huge. It's essential.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't do it.
It pre-warns them as well. You know, if you give them a range of prices, you know, I try and show everything really big. Everyone knows photography is expensive. They all buy the next size down from the one they really want. So luckily we've got very high ceilings. I show very big, but I talk them through, this range is this much, this one's this much. Give them ballpark figures and get them wanting it big. But the frame I sell to nearly every client is a 3-frame, a long 3-frame. And it just flies out of the door. And it's a very big frame. I get asked to do it small. I won't do it small. It looks really dramatic. The profit margin's really good in it, and it just sells and sells and sells. So I always try and upgrade the frame by doing prints. So I only sell prints in boxes of 6, but if they buy a frame, then they can buy them singly. So most of my sales come in at probably around the £600 mark, and it's a frame, a large frame with a few prints of varying sizes that are all mounted, and that's a pre-mount board and all that. Print myself all onto fine art surfaces, so photo rag papers. So I talk them through the process of why I use these papers, and it just makes the images look different to the guy down the road, even though they're ink jetted and whatever. I talk them through the whole process to try and I do that right at the beginning when they come in, so they know that the end product's going to be a certain thing. So you're already sort of pre-qualifying prices in a way, because you're talking through this fine art method that you're using and blah blah blah.
Yep.
So it works for me.
I think it's important that you're pre-selling all the way through, even the photo shoot.
Yeah,
it's all part and parcel of warming the clients up to what it is that they want, because you're talking to them whilst photographing, and you're showing all the various different products in your building as they're walking through the studio, whatever it happens to be.
It stops the shock as well, you know, if they go, how much is that, you know, and it stops that, because they've already been kind of pre-warmed to the sorts of levels that they expect to spend. Yes, they usually come in with a lower spend than they go out with, you know, but it's usually not that far off, because they have talked about it and they've kind of discussed the budget a bit more before they come in.
And I also think not to be scared of your prices, i.e. what Guy was saying, don't be scared of showing your prices beforehand. If they can't afford it, then they will tell you, as Guy said. But if they do come, then you know that they are willing to spend. So I've taken out today is to add 75p to everything.
I don't know what the others think as well about like canvases and board mounts and things. So anything that I don't produce in the studio, I talk to them about the companies that I work for, the fact that they're, well, you've been jealous of my cat. Yeah. I talk to them about the companies I use and why I use them, and that their colour's perfect and they're archival and all of that, because everyone knows they can go to a cheap lab and get a canvas for 20 quid, but it's not going to stay the same colour in 5 years. So, you know, I talk them through the materials, I talk them through the quality and all of that when they're actually in the shoot, looking at the work on the walls, and I find that helps a lot as well.
I totally agree. I think that it's all part of the pre-selling. You know, a lot of marketing is pre-selling, and as Hoss said, you know, you friend them when they come in, you talk to them, you find out what they're like, you find out the type of people that they are, the type of thing that they're after during the actual process of the shoot.
Yeah.
And it helps to sale at the end of the day.
I had a brilliant sale by Zoom. So just when lockdown was happening, I only had 2 clients that hadn't come in, and I did a Zoom session with the first session I did on by Zoom, which I was a bit apprehensive about beforehand, but actually it went really well because they could literally use the computer and show me their room. And as they panned around, I saw this great big empty patch, and it's like at the side of their front room going through to the kitchen. And it's like, oh wow, have you thought about that space for an image? And suddenly they started designing images just to fit that perfect space. So it actually worked incredibly well. It was actually better than doing a viewing in the studio in some ways, except they can't see the product so well. That was excuse me, it was an outdoor shoot, so they hadn't been into the studio at all. So, you know, showing the products was a bit harder, but I still went through showing each product, you know, over the computer. But yeah, Zoom sales can work well, I think.
Guy, when you send out your list, I presume it's a very shortened list.
Mine?
No, Guy.
Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon.
It's a list that, let's see, got it here.
Because you don't have to put it. My product list is so long, with so many different variations. I'd hate to show it to a client.
So my list basically says, yes, packs of prints, handmade photo books, digital images. I don't even price wall art and frames because I don't really want to sell them. I'm a one-man band. For me to mess about framing and that, I send everything to Kaleidoscope. They print the frame and they usually deliver directly to the client. It costs me about 100 quid an image for something like 2024. To be honest with you, I'd rather not be faffed with it. So I'd rather sell them 2 extra digital images and give them a board to frame themselves. I make far more money out of it. So when they come and see this, they've got an idea. This is not for them to go and say, I want to buy this. It's for them to say, the cheapest thing he does is 59 quid. I can afford that.
Yeah. Got it.
Oh, he does digital pictures. He does wall art. Fine. He's okay. Yes. Very rarely do people come in saying, actually, I've looked at your pictures and I want to go for the 16 digital images. It's, you know, they don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just to reassure people and to make sure that we're in the right ballpark. When they come here, no one ever buys off that unless they're going for single prints because they can't afford it. And then I go to them, you know what? You're hovering at the single print mark. Don't you like the pictures? And they go, I love the pictures. I'm just not able to buy it because I'm a single mum or whatever. So then that's when I turn around and say, what budget do you have? And I'll do my very best for you. And then I'll make up a package for them, you know? So they've got £200 to spend. I could probably push it to 250. What can I do them for 250? You know?
Yeah.
However, everyone goes on the 5. Now, I put a £99 there to make it look affordable, and I put a 789 there to make it look expensive. But to be honest with you, I'm selling quite a few of these, so I'm going to drop the 99 and I'm going to put £1,500 here. Okay, so you know, but my best sellers are usually around the middle two here, 399 and 549. Occasionally I get with bigger family groups, I get that. So that's my next bit to do. But saying that, you know, at £400, it cost me maximum 40 quid in retouching time. Okay, I send all my work out to Purple Matrix to do my retouching. So 10% goes to retouching, and that's all my direct costs are. I don't have material costs. I don't have postage costs. I don't even to buy a CD and a CD cover. Okay, there's no VAT to pay. So out of £40, I know I'm going to earn £360 cash in my pocket.
Are your prices including VAT or plus VAT or?
No, I don't charge VAT. I made the distinction is how much can I earn a month without charging VAT? It's 85K. So that's £6 grand a month. Okay, so if you divide £6 grand a month by 400.
That's sessions you can do.
That's the most amount of sessions I want to do, because it goes by a monthly kind of thing. Okay. And that's fine for me. If I get £6 a month, don't forget, I'm working from home. I don't have any rent. I have one member of staff that does telesales for me. My wife is my biggest overhead, and that's coming from a background of being a studio in the high street for 20 years. With I needed to make £8,000 to £9,000 a month in the studio just to break even.
Mm. Yeah.
So I'm actually making more money per sale now than I was at Hyatt. So these people that are VAT registered, they're going, oh, we're getting £800 sales, we love it. And I go, actually, you're paying about 120 quid VAT on that. And then that £800 sale is made out of 2 frames or 1 frame. So, okay, take out your £100 per frame, £200 framing charge, and suddenly you've only got £400 in your pocket now after you've taken VAT and costs and that. And you've done all this work for £400.
So we had to make £8-9 a week, not a month at Hyatt's.
I'm just saying goodbye, guys. I've got another call at 12:30. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think the biggest one is turnover is for ego, profit is for reality.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to love having the big averages, but big averages don't mean big profits.
No, not at all.
So if I sell
happy, because I think we ought to wind up a bit, if that's all right with everybody.
Hoss, can I ask you a question, please? Totally relevant. I'm looking to change my portrait lens. What lens do you shoot family portraits with?
Last one.
About 20 years old, 24 to 105.
That's what I use, but I thought I want sharper pictures. I'm not getting pictures as sharp as I want.
I used to have Hasselblads, and we used to put plastic in front of it to make it sharp. I mean, some people say to me, "Oh, this is so sharp. It's just whatever." My 70-200 is a Tamron because Canon was too sharp, and I wanted to be a little bit more. But it really doesn't matter. People, I mean, you can shoot with anything as long as you've got the right focal length.
Yeah,
and it makes people look good, and it's not wide angle like we're looking now.
Okay, that's the same. That's the same lens I use at the moment. I use the 24 to 105 Canon. Lens.
My marketing manager says if it doesn't make any more money, we don't need it.
I agree with them. I agree with them.
Right. Before we go anywhere, Hoss, can I link you and Jane up at some time? Jane was talking to me about something the other day, and you would be somebody that can help her tremendously with it.
Guys, I'm going to go.
Yeah, cheers, guys. So can I link you and Jane together at some time, if you can get together to help Jane with something that she's got an idea on?
Is it on Zoom you want to talk, or do you want to call me? What's up to you?
You're on mute, Jane.
You're on mute, Jane.
Sorry. Right. Yeah, whatever suits you, Hoss. I really don't mind.
I can give you my number if you want.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you.
Dodgy, don't do that.
I don't mind anybody having my number.
We know. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, Janice. Speak to you soon, darling.
Bye.
I'll leave you two to contact Jane and Hoss, but I just know that Hoss will be able to help you, Jane, with those things we were talking about the other day.
Brilliant.
All right. And I just want to thank everybody for their input today, and I hope you've all enjoyed it.
It's been really, really useful.
More than anything, I was going to say, I just hope it's been very, very useful to a lot of people, even if you've only picked up one thing, i.e. Philip's giving himself a black eye, lots of hair. I thought it was fantastic. So it's bye from me and bye from everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, my number 0771
0771
408
408
2042.
2042.
Oh
That's now
dear,
going,
that's all been
that's now
recorded.
going on a call card in the local telephone box.
When's the best time to ring?
Now,
Okay, I can do that as soon as we've
I'm
logged off.
sitting here.
Okay, cheers. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye for now.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, Ross. Bye,
Bye.
Jane.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks, Alan.
Bye.
No problem at all. Cheers all.
Cheers. See you soon.